Okay, we are so honored to have Ilyasah Shabazz come speak with me, April Silver, as a representative of the International African Arts Festival. We could not be more honored to just have a couple of minutes with this Brooklyn-born community activist, author of 5 books. We're going to get into all of that. So we thank you so sincerely, all of us at the International African Arts Festival. We thank you for taking time out of your busy day to just share some of your ideas and the importance of Black folks coming together and celebrating our heritage. So we just thank you so much for your time. How are
I'm
you
honored.
today?
Thank you. Thank you.
You're doing well today?
Oh, yes, I am fantastic. I'm so excited that I could even participate in this conversation with you. The
Yes.
International African Arts Festival is a festival that, my goodness, I was always so excited about. My mother raved about it. So I'm so happy, April, that I could be here for these
Yes.
few minutes and talk a little briefly about it.
Yeah, I listen, don't get me started. I could go on and on, but let me just set it up for our viewers a little bit. Like I said, you're Brooklyn born. You're the daughter of Dr. Betty Shabazz and Malcolm X. So you come from a long line and a rich history of people who care and are institution builders, in our community. And, like I was saying on camera, we got to shout out another major Brooklyn-based institution besides the International African Arts Festival, which is Medgar Evers College, because your mother was a figure there, like an educator there, and so is so beloved there at Medgar Evers College. And I work with that institution. Just a little side note, we got our first woman president, Dr. Patricia Ramsey at Medgar Evers College. So just shout out to all of the Brooklyn-based institutions just doing it up for the culture for our community. So let's just zone in on this part where the connection here is education, right? You're the author of 5 books for children and young adults, and knowledge of self and education of self is really important at the International African Arts Festival. So can you make that connection and just talk about the value, and just put in your own words, that value of education and knowledge of self, and kind of tie that together for us?
Absolutely. I'm so grateful to my parents that I grew up with a very healthy sense of who I am. My mother raised 6 daughters after witnessing her husband being gunned down. And in spite of that, she instilled just all of this love. Self-love was extremely important to my mother in raising her 6 daughters. And, I can recall as a child, my mother would decorate our home with art, books, music that celebrated who my 5 sisters and I were as women, as people of indigenous heritage of the African diaspora, of first world nations. And as one of 6 daughters of Malcolm X and Dr. Shabazz, we had this renowned scholar, and he was a phenomenal tutor, Sheikh Ahmed Tawfiq. And he would teach us history, Arabic, religion, spirituality. And he'd also do story time, which was always my favorite part of our tutorials. And, it really captivated my attention. And so I would create these stories, plays, musical productions, and my younger sisters and friends at school would be my starring cast. And the stories and dance routines, were always rich and colorful. They were very rhythmic, and they celebrated my identity as a Black woman, a proud Black woman. And in retrospect, I thank my parents, Malcolm X and Dr. Betty Shabazz, for giving me a very healthy sense of myself. And so today, it's really important to me that young people have an opportunity to do the same. And it's one of the reasons why I became an author and an educator. I'm at John Jay College of Criminal Justice, so that young people could open a book, attend events like the African International African Arts Festival
Mhm.
and celebrate who they are, celebrate a healthy identity formation that focuses on the very best of who we are as people of the African diaspora, as people of indigenous heritage of first world nations around the world.
You know, you're bringing in the indigenous part of who we are and tradition and culture. Tell us more about how that showed up in your books. Please take this opportunity to talk about your books.
Well, actually, here's an article that I had written, a little excerpt.
Mhm.
The omission of Black, Indigenous, Brown, Asian, and Latin history is not accidental. These exclusions distance people from their own heritage and ultimately their own sense of self. A false, whitewashed curriculum enforces the myth that there have never been scholars, thinkers, innovators, caregivers, iconoclasts, artists, and revolutionaries across these various identities. Consider, for example, we all know that Africa is the cradle of civilization, of the most advanced civilization that ever existed in humankind. What about those ancient African kingdoms that were full of immense progress, scholarship, and knowledge? And these are the kinds of history lessons that we had at home. And I'm telling you, I'm so grateful that my parents gave this to me. But if we learned about them in the same way we learn about ancient Greece and Rome, then our students in their world history classes would appreciate the present complexity of Black civilization and negate the teachings of biased and inherited racism, discrimination, hatred. And instead, we'd have an opportunity to instill the values of honesty, of truth, of human compassion, of self-love. And it's the reason why, again, I write the books that I write so I can tell the truth about history. I can tell the truth about my parents and the history that they learned, right? The history of their time. And also promote a positive sense of self. The reader, whether they're Black, white, red, yellow, green, purple, brown, whatever they are, they will understand truth and history, and especially have for people of color, for people of the African diaspora of African ancestry, they have an opportunity to know, how rich their history, heritage is, love who they are, and therefore love others. And so those kinds of narratives, for me, are really, really important. I think that every parent would want uh, uh, their children to have the opportunity to know that they're worthy of self-love, that they're worthy of a quality education, and that they're worthy to participate in mainstream society. And I think that this is what this festival, the festival, does.
Yes, you have said everything. Like you have put it all, you covered every base. And this is
That's
why we're
wonderful.
just so honored. Like that was comprehensive. It was in line with who we are and why we have been doing this. This is our 50th anniversary. We're at the end of June now, but 50
Mhm.
years of doing this work, of upholding everything that you just said. So we're so incredibly honored. And as we close out, I just want to see if there's any institution that you're working with, that you're a part of, that we would want to share with people far and wide, because this is a system of mutual support, right? So please take that opportunity as we close out.
Okay, so anyone can always contact me and go on my website, ilyasahshabazz.com. If you can't spell my name, you can go to growingupx.com. I have 5 books,
Yes.
right? I'm on Instagram for the most part. I'm also on Twitter and Facebook. But I'm the co-chairperson of the Malcolm X and Dr. Betty Shabazz Memorial and Education Center. And that is at the Audubon Ballroom where my father was gunned down on February 21st, 1965. My mother was very excited to ultimately retire there and continue the work of her husband. She safeguarded it for so long. But guess what? People discovered that this image that was portrayed of Malcolm was inaccurate. And just this past summer, my father was quoted 53.7 thousand times per hour per day in social media, which is the clearest evidence that young people want to know the truth. And we know Malcolm spoke truth, and truth is timeless. And they wanted to find strategies and tactics that they could employ to make change, to demand change, recognizing that those in power misuse power, and they are demanding change after witnessing this horrific killing of George Floyd, in spite of us questioning our own mortality as human beings, right? Because we didn't know what this global pandemic was,
Right.
questioning all of that and being forced to witness this horrific killing, and recognizing now that, oh, this is what Black people have been talking about, right? We understand Black power is not exclusionary. It simply says that we are part of the human family. And we demand
Absolutely.
change. Right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I just, you've said it all. You've said it all. So in the spirit of mutual support, we just want you to just say one more thing positive about the importance of people supporting the International African Arts Festival. If you're going to be in Brooklyn, July 4th weekend, it's July 2nd through July 4th, 2021, this weekend. So you are so more than welcome if you're going to be on this side of town by chance. But just close us out with one more positive thing in that system of mutual support that we know is important.
Yes. Well, we know that it takes a village to raise a child. For so long, we were told to pull your own self up by your own bootstrap. That does not work, right? Whatever it is we want to accomplish, we have to accomplish united, right?
Yes.
And so recognizing that it does take a village to raise a child. And what I love the most about this festival is the camaraderie, the community. It's ours. And so we have to be supportive of it, for us, by us. Our music, our culture. I think that this is one of the most important festivals, especially in BK, right? And right here in New York. It predated the Essence Music Festival, right? And
Yes.
So it's for us, it's by us, it's in Brooklyn, where culture is just everything. And so it's extremely important. Bring our family, friends, our children, and, let's continue to support this. And give $1. Imagine if each of us gave $1, $5, $10, $20, right? We are the ones who are the biggest spenders. So let's spend in our own communities and build up our own artists. And, let's just go for it. Let's have a wonderful, wonderful time right here in our backyards.
Yes. Ilyasah, my whole heart is like dancing for joy, just doing cartwheels, just thanking you so much for your time, for your generosity of spirit, just for all of who you be. We honor you, we lift you up, and we just thank you so much for everything.
Thank you so much. And give my love to Dr. Safiya Bandele.
Oh, please. Yes, Mama Safiya. Like that's we gotta bow down. If I could jump out of my seat and just bow down, that would be appropriate.
Exactly.
Yes,
my mother's dear friend. And so of course she was like, you better make sure you're there. So I'm there 100%.
Right. Thank you so much. We love you, we honor you, and we appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, talk to you soon.
Okay, bye-bye.